fellow citizens of Nigeria, following the announcement of the former governor of Borno State, Alhaji Kashim Shettima Mustafa, as a running mate to the presidential candidate of the APC by the candidate himself, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, another Alhaji, the national discourse has been set on a tailspin with vehement opposition to this choice coming from members of my constituency, the Christian community. Accordingly, this announcement has been accompanied by rejections, resignations, and resentment. Given the diversity of our nation, the mood of the nation, and the degree to which true nationhood is yet to be forged, this aversion to what has been termed a Muslim ticket is not unexpected. But as standard bearers of the message of the new Nigeria, we dream of a nation in which every Nigerian will be judged not by their ethnicity, political leaning, regional affiliation, or religious persuasion, but by the content of their character. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once proclaimed, in respect of his nation, the United States of America. We dream of a Nigerian where there will no longer be indigene or settler, but only a Nigerian citizen. We dream of a Nigerian where state of residence will replace state of origin in our official forms, and where zoning of federal character will become archival aspects of our journey into political maturity. We dream of a Nigeria in which every woman, as well as every man, will be able to aspire to any political office at any time without playing the ethnic card and without recourse to it's our turn or it's their turn. We dream of a Nigeria where the political mantra will no longer be Emi Lokan or our Lokan, but Nigeria Lokan. A Nigeria where every Nigerian citizen at any point in time we have the absolute freedom and liberty to contest for any political office and will be assured of the citizens' wise use of the power of the vote without consideration to what part of the country he or she is from, in what manner he or she chooses to worship God. A Nigeria where the phrase Tiwantiwa will no longer be relevant because Nigeria will be for every Nigerian and every Nigerian will be for Nigeria. Our inspiration in this regard has always been the example of Israel, which began with 12 tribes, but is today one nation with no tribal distinction. However, we acknowledge that Israel's journey to nationhood was a long and arduous journey. It took more than 2 millennia, a series of tumultuous experiences, and nationalistic leaders in the mold of King David to forge one cohesive nation from the 12 tribes of Israel. In the United States of America, 246 years after independence, factors like race and religion continue to play a role in that nation's politics. And as such, America is still working towards a more perfect union in accordance with its constitution. The arduous road to nation building is not a 100 meters dash. It is a marathon. This much was captured by President Barack Obama in his victory speech on 5th November 2008. Hear him. And above all, I will ask you to join in the work of remaking this nation the only way it's been done in America for 221 years, block by block, brick by brick, callous hand by callous hand. This is why we have chosen to remain the bridge between Nigeria's past, present, and future, and the galvanizing force that brings every Nigerian together around the ideal of a new Nigeria, irrespective of what part of the country they come from, what political party they pitch their tent with, or in what way they choose to worship God. We choose to do this because we believe that building the new Nigeria is a calling upon every Nigerian worthy of the name. In line with this ethos, in tackling complex matters of nation building, our position has always been in favor of statesmanship. On the difficult part to nation building, statesmanship demands that leaders take into consideration the mood of the nation in making decisions. Unless, of course, the motivation of such leaders is neither statesmanship nor nation building, but raw politics. For as James Freeman Clark once stated, a politician thinks of the next election, a statesman of the next generation. A politician looks for the success of his party, a statesman for the success of his country. The statesman wishes to steer while the politician is satisfied to drift. Nation building is a deliberate process towards inclusion. It's an art as much as it's a science. It's not done only with the head, it's done also with the heart. Unlike politics, it's not about the head count, like it happened in Oshun yesterday. It's not just about the head count, it's also about the hearts and minds behind the head counts. It's not all about the numbers. It's about the aspirations of the citizens who make up the numbers. The only way to bring those diverse heartbeats, throbbing at different rates, to the table of brotherhood and sisterhood is a way of compromise and trustful give and take. As President Dwight D. Eisenhower once said, people talk about the middle of the road as if it were unacceptable. Actually, all human problems excepting morals come into the gray areas. Things are not all black and white. There have to be compromises. The middle of the road is all of the usable surface. The extremes right and left are in the gutter. The very idea of representative democracy is the ideal that everyone will not only be represented, but will feel represented in his or her government. It was Thomas Jefferson who once said that government is the strongest of which every man feels himself a part. That government will be the strongest when every part has a sense of belonging. The pillar of northern Nigerian politics, the late premier of northern Nigeria, the Sadana of Sokoto, Sir Ahmadu Bello, recognized this moral obligation to ensure that due consideration is given to diversity of persuasions in public policy. Hence, a statement to the peoples of northern Nigeria in a unifying message. Hear him. Subject to the overriding need to preserve law and order, it is our determination that everyone should have absolute liberty to practice his belief according to the dictates of his conscience. As a result, northern Nigeria had its political foundation built on the principles of inclusion and religious harmony. This value system of religious neutrality and inclusion played out when military forces from northern Nigeria took over power in the 1966 counter-coup. The military had the confidence to leave the nation in the custody of a Christian from a minority ethnic group in the north. General Yakubu Gowon will go on to govern Nigeria for 9 years, keeping Nigeria one amidst the civil war. This moment calls for every Nigerian from the north, south, east, and west to renew our commitment to nationhood, building upon what worked in the time of our founding fathers while learning from their mistakes and imperfections as we build a more perfect union. Against this backdrop, on the one hand, I challenge the political class not to sacrifice nationhood on the altar of political expediency, but to demonstrate as candidates that they can unify the nation as president. This is the time to show maturity in decision-making and to give every Nigerian a sense of belonging. This is the time to become statesmen and stateswomen, mindful of the next generation and not just politicians consumed by the next election. On the other hand, I charge my fellow Christian leaders to approach the issue in question and the broader context of the 2023 elections with civility, clarity, and with continued hope in the possibilities of a united Nigeria, a new Nigeria that works for every Nigerian, Christian, as well as Muslim. Nationhood, rather than divisiveness, must be the objective of every engagement. As Christian leaders, we must also realize that the church in Nigeria today is paying for decades of erroneous teaching that posited that Christians have no business in politics. What is happening today is the price we are paying, or we are having to pay, for the years of failure of the church to strategically participate in the political process. The antagonism that was meted to some of us who have ventured from the pulpit to the podium, even from amongst our fellow Christian leaders, was always a pointer that a day will come when the church will face a rude awakening of the consequence of passivity, apathy, non-participation, and an anachronistic adherence to the Aaronic priesthood long after the author and the finisher of our faith had moved on to the Melchizedek priesthood. Failure to admit this will amount to hypocrisy. Thank you. Going forward, ahead of 2023, we must learn from our mistakes. Christian leaders must at this point bring the candidates and their running mates to the negotiation table, doing so with an open mind and based on a clearly articulated charter for nation building and national development. Such strategic engagement will be reminiscent of the interventions of the Save Nigeria Group, SNG, in 2010, when it engaged the presidential candidates on the basis of the SNG Charter, a contract to save and transform Nigeria. In this regard, Nigerian Christian leaders must provide answers to a cogent question: what kind of nation do Nigerian Christians want? Guided by the answers to this question, Christian leaders must, at this point, convene a strategic concourse to define the minimum standards across sectors of governance below which no Nigerian, Christian, or Muslim must be subjected. The Save Nigeria Group Charter and the Nigerian Charter for National Reconciliation and Reintegration, which was unanimously adopted by the delegates to the 2014 National Conference, can be a springboard for such a sector-by-sector deliberations. This must be done between now and September, when the campaigns will officially commence. The charter must be launched in Abuja, or may be launched in Abuja, and may be termed the Abuja Declaration for Nationhood. Thereafter, Christian leaders must then carefully engage each presidential candidate and running mate based on that charter and provide a unified direction to the body of Christ in Nigeria, having assessed each presidential or vice presidential ticket based on key performance indicators around the charter. This will be a more mature, structured, and strategic way to respond to the situation as against the emotional reactions that have dominated the polity since the choice of a running mate was made by the APC presidential candidate. For the Christians in northern Nigeria who feel marginalized by the choice of another Muslim as running mate, the time has come to upgrade the conversation from politics to governance. The time has come to interrogate the impact of politics on development. In this regard, key questions must be asked. Question number one: what will the candidates do to change the social, economic, and political landscapes in northern Nigeria to ensure the emergence of an enlightened electorate that will make political decisions not based on religion or region, but on rational indices of character, competence, capacity, and policy? Question number two: reports attributed to UNICEF suggest that 18.5 million Nigerian children of school age are out of school, an increase from the 13 million previously reported. The majority of these are from northern Nigeria, and there are reports indicating that the Northeast accounts for 60% of Nigeria's out-of-school children. The running mate of the APC candidate is from the Northeast. What will this ticket do to get these Nigerian children back to school? What will this ticket do to put an end to the ignoble and shameful situation in which the political class has over the years weaponized the poverty and illiteracy of a population and used it to perpetuate itself in power? What are their antecedents? What have they done in the past to address these issues? This is what should engage the mind of nation builders, not throwing insults up and down that will produce nothing. This is the root of the unrest in the north, a crisis of human development, the consequence of which Nigerians, Christians, as well as Muslims are faced with today. These are issues that must be brought before the ticket and before every party candidate for the presidency. It is therefore time to upgrade the conversation from politics to governance. Even as we advocate for balanced political presentation, the weightier matters should be stark realities of underdevelopment, not just in the north, but across the nation. Finally, I am fully persuaded that peace is a foundation for increase and prosperity. And until we learn to execute true justice and show mercy and compassion, everyone to his brother, the peace we long for in this nation may continue to elude us. I believe this is why the psalmist declared in Psalm 122, verse 6 to 9, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May they prosper who love you. Peace be within your walls, prosperity within your palaces. For the sake of my brethren and companions, I will now say, peace be within you. Because of the house of the Lord, our God, I will seek your good. Dear brothers and sisters, without true justice, equity, and fair play, we will continue to fertilize instability and chaos in the land. The word of the Lord that came to Prophet Zechariah confirms this. Listen to him in Zechariah chapter 7, verse 8 to 12. He reads, and I quote, Then the word of the Lord came to Zechariah, saying, thus says the Lord of hosts, execute true justice, show mercy and compassion, everyone to his brother. Do not oppress the widow or the fatherless, the alien or the poor. Let none of you plan evil in his heart against his brother. But they refused to heed, shrugged their shoulders, and stopped their ears so that they could not hear. Yes, they made their hearts like flint, refusing to hear the law and the words which the Lord of hosts had sent by his Spirit through the former prophets. Thus, great wrath came from the Lord of hosts. There you have it, boldly written, brothers and sisters. Without justice, equity, and fair play, the notion of one Nigeria will remain a desert mirage. It is therefore imperative that we act with understanding of the times and rise up to the challenge of nation building that this occasion calls for. Thank you for listening. God bless you. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And may Nigeria win in 2023 in Jesus' mighty name. And the people said,